Today we got Minnesota's newest commit and Penn Charter's head basketball coach, KAI SHINHOLSTER and Brandon Williams. Thanks for being on Air with Rare, y'all. What's going on, KAI? What's happening? What's going on with you, man? Congrats.
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for being on Air with Rare, man. You're the newest Minnesota commit. How does it feel?
It feels great. I'm very relieved that this process is over, and I'm very happy where I'm going.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a great decision for you, man. I'm proud of you, man. Coach, talk to me. You were hired as Penn Charter's head coach just last season. You brought in a couple guys with you, but you already had a star in place. What was it like knowing you had a player as good as KAI Shinholster already on the roster?
I mean, I think anybody that knows basketball probably knows the feeling of being able to have a guy that can do everything on the basketball floor, right? So it makes it a little easier when it comes to your personnel because you know that you got somebody that can kind of affect all parts of the floor, right? Like it's funny. We start workouts tomorrow, and Kai is able to really be in every individual group, right? Like I could put him in drills with Matt, with mid post, low post. I can put him in drills with Jake and Jamal, with lead guard stuff. And like he's just an extremely versatile kid. So I mean, actually, Kai, you could tell him the day I got the job, Kai was my first phone call.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah.
He was my first phone call. He was down the beach with Mark Butler and them, and I was like, yo, listen, bro, like we gonna bring some pieces in because we want to definitely have this thing be amazing, but I want you to know, like, you still the guy at the end of the day.
Mm.
Yes, sir.
Coach, now, how did becoming a college athlete impact your life? You played at Chestnut Hill College, but let us know, how did it impact your life more generally positive or negative?
Oh wow, how about that? I mean, I think to be honest, bro, like being a college athlete was something that prepared me just for life, right? Like, as an adult now and having responsibilities, being accountable, needing to prioritize things and just having an overall schedule of what you need to do from a day to day, right? And having to take care of yourself. I think ultimately I was, high school, you go to school, mom got meals ready for you already, and you just kind of eat, do your homework, go to sleep, talk on the phone. Whereas in college, you really got to get your own self together with your meals, your preparation. So I think it matured me a lot, and it helped me deal with a lot of personalities. I think one thing that's a little bit different. Kai hasn't really experienced it because he's always played with really good teams, but when you get to college, man, everybody is good, right?
Mm.
And everybody was like the guy for their high school team or their area team. So I mean that's a different experience as well, just being around different personalities and being around guys that were dependent on like you and just trying to find a way to kind of mesh and coexist, which prepares you for the real world when it comes to working, in corporate America like myself. So
Correct. Kai, now I'm gonna run down this list of schools that you receive offers from. It's pretty lengthy, but you got offers from schools like Hofstra, UTEP, Florida Gulf Coast, UPenn, Drexel, Temple, St. Joe's, Mississippi State, Radford, St. Louis, Fairfield, Boston U, LaSalle, JMU, Missouri State, Rhode Island,
talk
etc.
about
You ultimately decided to head to Minnesota. Talk to me a little bit about the recruitment process. What was the deciding factor for you?
The reason I chose Minnesota was mainly just because that's where I felt most comfortable. Coach Brandon, he told me a bunch of people have been telling me how I thrive in areas where I feel comfortable. That's part of the reason why I stayed at the same high school, stayed in the same AAU program. So by going out to Minnesota, I was very, very comfortable with the coaching staff, very comfortable with the players that they already have, very comfortable with the entire area, even the city. So I just felt like that was the place for me, and also it helps them being one of the biggest leagues, one of the best leagues in
Yes,
the country,
Big Ten.
and helping me hopefully get to where I want to go and take that next level.
Coach, what's your advice on choosing the right college or professional path for young players looking to advance in their careers?
I mean, Kai kind of touched on it. I think comfortability is big because you want to be somewhere where you could be yourself, man. I think one thing that's unfortunate with a lot of young people, man, is, and it's not even just in sports. You know, they get caught up in trying to kind of go with the crowd, right? Go with the wave. And you know, I think it's definitely something that you get into when you're younger, right? Like, everybody wants to be liked by their peers, but I think that, you know, when it comes to picking schools, when it comes to picking, you know, a career path, I think A, you want to pick something that you're comfortable with, and I think B, you want to kind of be in a space to where you know you can really be yourself and have a good time, right? I think the biggest thing about especially college, man, is that it should be some of the best days of your life for real. Like,
Yes, yes.
kids don't understand, like college, man. Like, I met my wife there. You know what I mean? Like your experience at school will change your life. You know what I mean? I was Stevie Mitchell, one of my former players, was he had a camp at his old school at Wilson, and they had asked him about his Marquette experience going to his senior year. And he was like, "Man, I'm gonna have these guys in my wedding." He's like, "I built long lasting relationships," and I think, you know, what helped him through that, it was always about, and like I said, helping Kai. It's like, yo, you want to pick somewhere you feel like you could be your best self, and not just your best basketball self, but just your best person, right? Because I think nobody tells you about the bad days in college, right? Like, you gonna have days to where, you know, you may not be playing well, you know, schoolwork might not be going right, might be in a fight with your chick, and on those days when you can't turn the basketball, like, there has to be other things that just make you enjoy, you know, getting up the next day. Like, I think one thing, the mental health crisis is a real thing, right? So I think, like, being big on just like any career, any school you pick, it got to be something that can at times when it becomes maybe not fun and it becomes more of a job, you can still see yourself getting to the end, right? Having success. 'Cause I think a lot of times with a lot of people that may fall short of, you know, graduating from school or you know, maybe leaving a job early is because they just get to a point where they don't see success anymore.
Yeah.
So
And you know, like when I was younger, you're right. You know, you everybody tell you when you're in high school, you know, college gonna be the best days of your life, and you're like, yeah, yeah, so until you know you our age, you're like, dang, college were like some of the best days we actually experienced. Um,
nah, I think I think it's a great time because you get different personalities, man. You meet so many different people. Like, I grew up in, you know, North Philly, right off of Broadhaven Park. I was around one type of person in high school, AAU. Yeah, I mean, we was around the same people a lot, just playing basketball.
yeah,
When you get to college, you learn about so many other people.
yes, yes. Kai, how far do you want to go with basketball, and what's your plans to get there?
Um, so I definitely want to try and take basketball as far as I can take it, whether that's making money playing basketball or just playing at college right now. So I'm very excited playing at this level because it kind of makes my dreams of obviously become playing in NBA a little bit more real. You know, having going to a school that has a fair amount of players that go on to play in the NBA. It's kind of a blessing for me. And the way that I'm just trying to get there is just staying humble, continuing to work on myself, on my body, on my game, but not overdoing it to where I fall out of love with the game. You know, because I feel like at the end of the day, it's my life, and I still gotta love what I'm doing in order to see the best results.
Yeah, you spoke briefly on working on your game. How has your game evolved or changed over the course of your high school career?
So yeah, I feel the main thing that evolved over my game actually has nothing to do with actual basketball. I feel it's me becoming a leader.
Mm,
Um, Being at Penn Charter in ninth grade and 10th grade, I had guys like Mark Butler, my brother, Keith G. They were able to lead that team, and I just had to solely focus on just going out and getting buckets and just hooping. But now, Coach Brandon challenged me with a new challenge of leading the team and being more vocal and stuff like that. And I feel like that's kind of helped me evolve as a player for the better over the years.
mm. Coach, what's the most important skill or habit you believe young athletes should develop?
I guess if I'm just saying basketball skill, you got to be able to shoot. I think that is just extremely paramount, it will always change your ability to affect the game, right? Like if you could shoot, there's always a space for you on the floor, right? Like one thing you don't want to be is somebody that takes up space and is kind of like a waste of minutes, right? Like I think Kai being 6'5" and skilled with the basketball, doing a bunch of things becomes different when you add in the shooting ability, right? So I think from just a pure basketball standpoint, you got to be able to shoot. And then I would just say from a habit standpoint, I think building habits, right? Like I think that's a great habit is to build a habit, right? I talk to these guys a lot about stacking days, and I always tell them like, what's a day for you, right? So I think like if I can give any kid a word of kind of advice is figure out what a day should be, and then just compete with yourself, right? Like I think too many people try to compete with others. It's hard to compete with others when you don't really know what someone else does every day,
Right.
right? Like how can you looking to compete against across the country, but you don't see what that guard does every day.
Right.
Whereas he know what he did yesterday. So it's like, yo, be better than who you was the day before, which is if a day for you was getting up, running 2 miles, making 200 shots, and then getting an hour of pickup and an hour of skill working, then that should be your day. And make sure that you don't miss it, right? It's like work. Some days you don't feel like getting up and doing it, but you got to do it, right? Like, we got kids in the city that have excelled at basketball. Ahmad Noel being one, right? And I love watching his development because you see how hard he works and how consistent he is and how he stacks his days. So I think that would probably be the main thing just from a habit standpoint. Get into the habit of stacking days and competing against yourself. And then just from a pure basketball skill, you got to know how to shoot the bill.
Yeah. Hey, Kai, what do you believe is one of your weaknesses, and what are you doing to improve it? And also, what's one of your strengths you believe that make you a great athlete?
I think my one of my main weaknesses right now is my strength a little bit. Especially going at the level that I'm going to go at next year. You got to be able to be strong enough to take that bump, and I feel like that's something that me, Coach John Riles, and Coach Brandon have been working on to try and help me. So we're actually in the gym now. We're starting this week lifting and doing all that and just getting my body right. I'm actually in touch with some of the Minnesota strength and conditioners and nutritionists to help me get my body right. So that's something that I'm doing. And what was the other question?
What are one of your strengths that you believe you have that make you a great athlete?
One of the strengths that I believe that I have is I think I'm a lot faster than people actually think. I think I move very well for my height and my size, so I think that's one of my strengths.
Mm. Coach, what tips would you give someone who has dreams and aspirations of playing big time basketball on a Big Ten level, etc.?
Um, I would say be comfortable being uncomfortable. I think, one thing Kai will tell you is that, we're very big on really trying to tap into not just basketball stuff, but like mentally is where we're like huge on making sure that we're always understanding like where we can push ourselves mentally, right? And I think you do that by being uncomfortable, right? You got to put yourself in environments that you aren't the best player, you aren't the best shooter, you aren't the best passer. You get coached hard, like you got to be okay with being uncomfortable because at the next level, man, it's another ball game in the fact that like this is what these coaches feed their family from. Like
Correct.
it's a whole nother animal now. Like this is how they pay their bills. I'm fortunate enough to where I can just purely coach basketball and I have a job and a career that can provide for my family. But at the next level, at the Big Ten level, this is what they got, right? So it's one of them things to where you got to be okay with the grad assistants chewing you out because they trying to move up on a level. The assistant coaches chewing you out because they trying to move up. The walk-ons, like everybody at the next level is trying to elevate themselves. And
Correct.
so I think when that is something that's constantly going on, you got to be okay with just having days to where you don't really feel comfortable, but you want to maintain your principles and your standards of who you are as a person.
Yeah, I agree. You know, a lot of guys come home and say, oh well, he's cool with this person and he's still not playing me. And them guys will realize, like, yeah, I got to feed my family. If I don't win, I don't get have a job. Like you said, and it's entertainment, it's big business. You got to win games, or you won't
Absolutely.
be on that sideline too long.
You will not. You want a picture.
Kai, who has influenced your style of play the most? Like a player that you know personally, or NBA player, who has influenced your style of play the most?
Um, I think the person that influenced my style of play the most is probably probably Devin Booker. Although like my favorite player is Kevin Durant. I watched, like, especially with the help of Coach John, he helped me just like look at he calls it like me looking at where I want to be. Devin Booker, obviously one of the best players in the world. So just by me studying his game a little bit, it's helping me out. And he's kind of like, he likes to get to that mid range, which is something that I really try and get to as well. So we've been trying to work on stuff that I see him doing. So that's probably like something I look after. But around me, I feel like I picked up the most from my dad. My dad used to play back in the day. He used to play at Textiles, now Jefferson, and he just taught me how to use my mind. Like since a young age, he been teaching me stuff like knowing your personnel, knowing like who to swing the rock to, who not to, playing unselfishly, stuff like that. And I feel like that's one thing that hasn't really changed as I moved from level to level, whether that's AAU, whether that's high school, whether that's anything. Like in my mind, I always have my mind. So, yeah.
Lastly, Kai, before I let you go, one last question: what do you want Golden Gopher Nation to know about you, and what do you have to say to them?
I want them to know that I'm a very versatile person. Like on the court, I'm versatile. I'm able to play multiple positions and stuff like that. But then off the court, I'm versatile as well. Like I'm gonna bring a lot to the program outside of basketball, just by me being who I am and the character that I have. And I'm excited to get out there.
Oh man, well, Coach Brandon Williams, KAI Shinholster, I appreciate you guys taking time out, and thanks for being on Air with Rare.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us,
Talk
bro.
to you guys
Appreciate
soon,
you.
man. See you guys soon.
Go
Uh,
Gophers.
yes, sir.